Hello, I'm Kevin Moritza, and this is my presentation on Alaska Airlines profit centers for AVIA 314 Principles of Aviation Administration at Liberty University. In this presentation, we'll discuss business segments, revenue activities, expense activities, revenue and expense data from 2020, revenue and expense data from 2021, business activities of Alaska Airlines, and I'll have some references for you. Business segments is a component of a company that generates its own revenues and creates its own product lines, or service offerings. Alaska Airlines provides a scheduled passenger and cargo air service, and they identify three operational business segments, which was mainline, flown by Alaska Airlines, Boeing 737 aircraft, and the Airbus A320 and A321neo aircraft around the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Costa Rica. The next segment is they identify as regional, which their regional carriers Horizon Air and SkyWest Airlines fly around the U.S., usually shorter flights. Horizon Air operates Q400 and E175 aircraft, and SkyWest operates the E175 aircraft, and those are done through a CPA, which is a capacity purchase agreement, where Horizon and SkyWest seats are purchased by Alaska Airlines. Horizon and SkyWest operate flights on behalf of Alaska Airlines, and their third segment is just Horizon Air, flying under a CPA. So Alaska Airlines revenue activities, passenger revenue for 2020 and 2021. So in 2020, passenger revenue accounted for 85% of all revenues. They made $3.019 billion in passenger revenues. 2021, up until September 30th, 88% of the revenue was from passenger service, and they made a revenue of $3.785 billion on passengers. Next revenue activities, we have mileage plan and other. And in 2020, 10% of their revenue is accounted for mileage plan and other. They made $374 million. And then 2021, up until September 30th, they 8% of their revenue was from mileage plan and other, and they made $332 million. Cargo and other, 2020, they accounted for 5%. They made $173 million, and then up until September 30th of 2021, it accounted for 4% of their revenue, and they made $160 million from cargo and others. Expense activities for Alaska Airlines, we'll start off with non-fuel expenses. Wages and benefits are the biggest expense they have for non-fuel expenses. Also landing fees and other rentals, aircraft rentals, and a bunch of other expenses. So in 2020, non-fuel expenses accounted for 74% of their expenses, which were $4.547 billion. 2021, up until September 30th, was 81%, and their expenses were $3.699 billion. Next, you have fuel expense, pretty explanatory there. 2020, 12% of their expenses, $723 million went to fuel. And then September 30th, 2021, they accounted for 19% of their expenses, $853 million in fuel. And next, you have special items. And special items were merger-related costs, impairment charges, and other charges, restructuring charges. So due to COVID, they had a lot of expenses. 2020, special items accounted for 14% of their expenses, which was $853 million. And then 2021, they didn't have much special items, $5 million, which was from a merger fee that they're still paying on. So here's some data from their revenue and expense data from 2020 off of the form Alaska Airlines Form 10K. Here you see operating revenues and operating expenses, how it's broken down. Next, we have revenue and expense data from 2021 off of their Alaska Airlines Form 10Q, which was their quarterly report, which shows up to 9 months ending September 30th. They had an example on there from 2021, and then they compared it to 2020. Business activity is any activity related to the purpose of making a profit. So Alaska Airlines business activity, scheduled passenger service accounted for 85% of that. Their mileage plan was 10% of that. Of that 10%, 3% of their total profit was from co-sharing interline agreements, which fell under the mileage plan. And then scheduled cargo service was 5%. And then under that, they accounted for lounge memberships, hotel and car commissions, other items not tied to providing air travel. So there's their breakdown there. So here's my references. Of course, Alaska Air Group's website under their financial information. Pulled information from their most recent Form 10K and Form 10Q. And then also got a few definitions from Investopedia.com for business segments and business activity definitions. Well, that concludes my presentation. I hope you learned a little bit about Alaska Airlines profit centers. Thank you for watching.